This man is a dangerous man. Kipchumba Murkomen is a dangerous man. And if you guys don't believe me, let's watch this clip together, because today we have a lot of unpacking to do. Let's listen in to what he said yesterday.
Na tumeambia polisi, mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station, piga yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote.
That is a shoot to kill order right in front of you guys and in front of the camera. But you can hear, things didn't turn out the way Murkomen expected them to. The moment he uttered that statement, he knew what? I've messed up. Because he was expecting applause. He was expecting people to clap at him, and he was expecting people to support his statement. But the audience or the people who were listening to him were like, you know what? Nah, that will not happen. And his reason or excuse for a shoot to kill order is exactly this. Because now all of a sudden, citizens are looking at the police and they are asking them, "Mmefika wapi? What have you guys done? Ama, what did you expect to do to us as civilians?" That warrants a shoot to kill order. If today you go and just ask a police officer a question, because we do not have a constitution in this nation, because they've decided to, to work on this constitution and they've decided to be the law, then that warrants a shoot to kill order. Let's listen in, because someday this is the statement we will all be quoting. And I love when Murkomen keeps talking and talking, because this exposes this man's arrogance, exposes this man's dictatorship, and it actually tells us the kind of person he is and the kind of government that he's serving. Let's see what his reason and excuse again was for a shoot to kill order.
Ile shida yenye inafanya hata polisi za wengine ipige wakora risasi ni kwa sababu wanashikwa
ile shida hata inafanya saa ingine polisi wapige wakora risasi. Just making sure you all heard that.
Wanaenda wanarudi wanakuja kuchekelea polisi
wanaenda wanakuja kuchekelea polisi.
Sasa tulifika wapi? Hakuna penye tumeenda. Si ni ukweli? Na tumeambia polisi, mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station, piga yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it when evil is so exposed this way to the entire nation? Don't you love it that people are able to see the darkness in this man? Now, because watu wanauliza polisi, what's next? Ama mlifikiria mkituchapa, what will happen? Because people can ask that, then that warrants you to be shot right there. And this man is so arrogant. He's right there uttering these statements, expecting applause. And I really want to appreciate everyone that was in that crowd, because you checked this man on his own BS, and they will not believe it. They will not believe that this is an age and a time where we have to check them on their own BS real time. We won't wait and analyze the statement. If you're on the ground and someone says something as stupid as this, then you gotta check them out, guys. But you might be wondering, where is Kipchumba Murkomen getting all this confidence all of a sudden, this strength, the ego, the pride to talk to people the way he wants to, right? Remember, last time when we sat here, we spoke about his statement when he was talking to us about how countries such as the UK and the US treat their citizens who are deemed to be threatening the state, right? They go and pick them from their own homes. And he was wondering, why is it that in this country, we have this freedom? You can talk the way you want. You can say what you want. Isn't that why there's a constitution? I mean, if you don't agree with what I'm saying on this show, please have me on court, give me my day in court, right? But all of a sudden, even before the protest, which we are going to unpack, because we are not going to let this agenda, that number one, that was a coup. Number two, these were terrorists. We were right in the field. We documented that. We covered that. Other media personalities such as Larry Mado, every person was on that field, and they covered something different from what these people are telling us. us, right? And even before we unpack why Murkomen is on a crime scene tampering with evidence, because all of a sudden, you know what, you guys, you went and you looted and you made sure you're going to leave your IDs laying around because you want to get caught, right? And then they go and parade all these IDs in front of you, and you have Murkomen there, a photo moment, a beautiful photo moment for him, just making sure that he's seen what, he's seen the IDs, right? And he's reading the names as he's holding the IDs. And you wonder, man, you do not need to watch Jack Bauer, or you do not need 24 to realize that this is a crime scene. Why are you tampering with this evidence? We are going to get into that, but let's circle back, because I want to remind you what Murkomen said the day prior to the protest and how he wants citizens in this country treated, because all of a sudden he speaks with his fellow ambassadors in the US and whatever, and they've told him what you Kenyans are doing is also surprising us. Let's listen into that.
I have spoken to ambassadors from other countries when they come visit, and I've said this. In UK, for example, if any person just tweeted or posted a post on any social media to say they will be visiting Buckingham Palace, or they will go to 10 Downing Street, or they will be going to Parliament, Your Excellency, nobody will wait for them to come to the street. They will be picked from their own houses, and they will be charged. I have lived and studied in the US. I have even attempted to visit White House, because there are days they are allowed to visit. If a citizen of America, in any state, however far from the Washington, D.C. is, was to write in their social media that let us go and invade White House, Your Excellency, the Secret Service would pick them from their homes.
Yes. Now, there's a reason I wanted us to be able to listen into that, because last time we said the only reason he's talking about Kenyans being picked from their homes is because they want to justify what they did to Albert Ojwang. They want, there's danger in a repeated narrative. If I keep repeating to you these words, if you threaten or you exercise your freedom to speech, I can come and pick you from your home and I can take you into a police cell, and then we are going to create this whole narrative that you bumped your head on the wall and that's why you are normal, right? Now, him now giving a shoot to kill order, it's because they don't know what to do with the people anymore. You cannot shoot people right now because we are following and we are talking about it, right? You want us to forget what happened to Albert Ojwang. We will not forget that, right? We will keep talking about it, and we will keep talking about Lagat, because this is why you are saying that these goons are from a particular part of this country. You want to divide us along tribal lines, and we've said, today is not the day, right? But there is a reason Murkomen keeps telling you these things over and over again, because he wants you guys to forget what this was all about in the first place. Remember, if Albert Ojwang had not died in a police station, why would we even be having this conversation with the police? Like, honestly, why would people be having this conversation with the police if he did not die in a police cell, if there was not a cover-up, if the DIG is not somehow involved in this whole scenario? Who is coming after the police and why? Who got time? People are struggling with so many things in this nation, right? You make yourself the focus. You actually led us on to you. You are the one who killed someone in a police station, and you want Kenyans to forget that, right? But because every extrajudicial incident is being given the coverage it deserves from different people on X, people like Nyakundi will not sleep until they know what happened to Albert Ojwang. You are experiencing a new way of sharing news and information, and you don't know how to deal with that. So what will Murkomen do? He will issue a kill on site. He will issue a notice to the police officers that mkiona mtu anawaletea makasiriko, shoot that MF. At this day and age, Murkomen, unatubeba aje? You really want us to support you when you give a shoot to kill notice in public, because all of a sudden the police officers are untouchable? God, I want to finish with this part because I want us to unpack what happened in Maandamano. I refuse to use this platform to advance the narrative that the protesters stole. They caused distraction and mayhem. No. that will be us telling you that what we witnessed in the field is not the truth. That will be us buying into that narrative, where else we know for sure the media covered goons beating people. And there is no way people left Kenyatta Avenue all the way to OTC to go and cause destruction of property. Even the protesters that were around Kenyatta Avenue, the protesters that were around that area, they were saying, you know what, uko OTC tujui yao ni akina nani. Let me just play you this clip. I meant to play it at the end of this show. But first, let's first watch this clip together, and then we come back now to Murkomen and distracting whatever it is that happened juicy during maandamano.
Whatever is happening here is very interesting, because we're seeing a group of what we could refer to as gangs and goons using clubs, and they're beating someone right in front of police officers. Police officers are not doing anything. In fact, as you can see, they're driving away. Now, there have been questions about the identity of these people who have been identified as goons, and who the questions are, who is arming them, and why do they have such power to beat civilians right in front of police officers? So the question is, who are these men, and why are they moving with so much command? As you can see, they're still beating
Good, let's watch this final part together. These guys, this is the same place where they are saying the protesters went and caused mayhem and they distracted and they stole from people's businesses, etc., etc. But tell me, who are these people with these sticks? Because the narrative of the goons is what we've been talking about over and over again. But Murkomen and his people, they want to use this and say, you know what, these were the protesters. Until we come to the realization or face the reality that the protests have two different people. The ones who are protesting because they know why they are protesting, and the ones the government have sent to make sure the mandamanos are not a success. Because I have always said what a shame it would be for you to see millions marching and telling you right on your face, we do not want to be led by you or your government anymore. We are tired. What a shame. I mean, if I don't want the entire world to witness that, I'm going to make sure that I turn Kenyans against themselves. That is what the government wants you to believe. That is what the government, the people who are paying these goons, they know damn well. They've sat in meetings and they've said this is the best way for us to cause mayhem, to divide Kenyans against themselves, and to make sure that you guys, you hate each other, and to make sure that the business community is absolutely annoyed by what is happening in this country, such that the next protest, the protesters will, you know what, they'll be so scared, because they'll be like, you know what, I don't want to be told I destroyed someone's property. I don't want to be told, by the way, me, I committed a crime. I don't want to commit a crime because this is the same thing they are fighting against. They are fighting against a government that is committing crimes. So as a genuine protester, you're going to look at it and you're going to weigh your options, and you'll be like, nah, I don't think I want to do this again, because now what asema ni sisi, and this is what they are counting on. This is what the government is vouching. This is what they are counting on. You guys making sure that you are divided among yourself. And this is what is giving Murkomen that confidence, the ego, the courage to come out and talk to people the way he wants to talk to people about, right? And tell them that, you know what, you guys, we will shoot you, because how are they going to justify all the dead bodies that we are going to be seeing, even in the upcoming days? I mean, the easiest justification is these people are causing mayhem next to a police station and there's a shoot to kill order, so we killed these people, right? They will be killing people from different places across the country and dropping them in front of police stations and saying these guys were causing chaos outside the police station and that is why they were shot. You have an entire cabinet secretary telling you, shoot these people. Why is it so hard for Murkomen to believe that we are able to read between the lines? This is a preparation for the number of people that are going to end up dead in this country. And unless we check such people, unless we can continue holding people like Murkomen accountable, trust you me, Albert Ojwang ain't it even. That will be the least of our problems, you know. They are going to make sure that we normalize deaths such as Albert Ojwang's, because right now they have a perfect explanation for it. And I have said, you know who destroyed people's properties. You know who distracted those places. You know who stole from the business community. Because all of a sudden, you are saying the people who destroyed properties, they are coming from a certain place in this country. So how did they pass those places, the roads? I thought you blocked the roads. How are they, how did they easily access the areas of OTC? Because what we know is that you guys, you blocked the roads. It was so hard to get to the capital. But all of a sudden, you have all these people at that side where other protesters around area, Nation Center, Sarova Stanley are saying, we don't want to go there. Uko kuna wase na tujui hao wase ni akina nani. And then you want to come, you go ballistic on people and issue this press statement and say, you know what, we are going to defend the police, not my words, his words. Let's just watch this together because, Murkomen, this confidence, siju umetoa wapi lakini, let's watch this together, guys.
Make no mistake, we will come for you and we will come hard. It doesn't matter the noisemakers, doesn't matter those who are calling us names. I will defend the police officers. Or all the police officers who did a very good job yesterday, you have my full support. 100%. Even if you need a lawyer or you need anything, you have my back, and you have the back of this ministry. And I have your back, actually. And I have your back, and the ministry has your back. And the government has your back. If you are a police officer and you are being threatened with some character saying that you committed any excesses, there is no police officer who committed any excess yesterday. Police officers foiled a coup and they deserve our defense. They don't carry guns as toys. When you threaten a police officer, you want to kill them. When you target an armory in a police station, when you steal guns, when you ban guns, when you ban a police station, you want us to celebrate you and bring you a birthday cake. We must be serious as a country. And as long as I have this responsibility, a policy responsibility of speaking on behalf of our police officers, we must defend them, because it is now clear the coup plotters are not sleeping. And while they were going around campaigning against policemen for the last 3 weeks, their campaign was not a genuine campaign for the reform of police officers. They wanted to sufficiently scare us and scare the police officers so that they can have a free passage to commit the crimes that we saw yesterday. If it was not for the police officers, we would not be having this country today.
No, Murkomen. If it was not for the police officers, we would not be having the distraction and the disaster that this country is experiencing. But finish, my friend.
We're not even sitting here to make statements. And therefore, our police officers have my full support. And I will defend them against all the orchestrated attacks that want to paint police officers as if they are lesser human beings and not daughters and sons of this republic.
All right, there he goes again, dividing Kenyans. Now it's Kenyans against the police officers. But he's spoken about something very interesting 3 weeks ago. What happened 3 weeks ago, guys? And it's very important that we keep reminding ourselves over and over again what happened 3 weeks ago. And what happened 3 weeks ago is that they killed Albert Ojwang. And that is why the public was outraged. That is why people went back to the streets. That is why people went marching. Justice for Albert Ojwang, right? But he seems to selectively forget that. What happened 3 weeks ago is that you had Langat implicated in this whole scenario, that he had to step aside. Stepping aside while still enjoying people's salary that is paid by your tax money. By the way, let's just put that out there, So how do we even know he's still not the guy who is operating all these things, right? What happened 3 weeks ago is that the government did not take accountability for their action. They started releasing mixed up press statements. They started, the blame game. Oh, it's this officer. Mara, it's Karura. Mara, Albert Lagat was alive when he was in the police station. Mara, we took him to Bagadi when he was still alive. And I've said things have changed. You will say one thing and people are going to spend sleepless nights making sure that they are connecting the dots. And unfortunately, your dots did not add up, right? And I can tell you for free, the reason why Murkomen is so confident, standing there with the police officers and assuring them that you have my support, it's because I know our police officers are not fools. They're also looking at this situation and they're asking themselves, whose side do we want to be, on? Whose side do we really want to support right now? And this pretense and this false support towards the National Police Service by Murkomen and Ruto, Ruto also the other day, he was assuring this, the police they have his support, and he was actually commending them for the good job that they've done, right? Why all of a sudden are they trying to sweet talk the police this much? Is it because someday the police are going to sit back and look at this nation and see where this nation is going? Is it because they are going to look at their children who they cannot feed anymore and ask themselves, why exactly am I a police officer in this country? Is it because someday the same police officers are going to get a call from their relative back home who cannot access better health care services in this country, and they will look and say, why do I go fight with these young people in the streets anymore? Is it because when they are being commended for the good job that they are doing, they know we did not do any good job? What we did to these young people, what we did to our fellow Kenyans, what we did to the civilians who wanted to protest peacefully, that was not justice at all. Is it because guilt will start eating them someday and they will look at their own sons and daughters and they will be ashamed of the uniform? And then they will have Murkomen's voice ringing in their mind, telling them how proud he is of the good job they've done. What good job? What good job? Did you see the video of the young boy whose mom is a police officer and he came out to maandamano? You have your children also telling you, okay, mom, I respect you, you're a police officer. I respect that you're serving the nation, but man, I have to talk. Is it because someday the same police officers are going to look at the population of the young people that keep turning up in the streets and they are going to ask themselves the most important question: why is it that we have millions turning up in streets in large numbers? Is it that these kids don't have any work to do? Because that is the truth we must address. Every time we are documenting this protest and looking at the young people, one of the most important questions we ask ourselves is, hawa aki ni job hawana ama? That's a question everyone asks, because in the field, those young men and women, it's desperation. It's because they know they don't have anywhere to go tomorrow. It's because they know they cannot keep quiet during these moments of injustice. It's because the truth you cannot hide the truth for so long. When you see a population coming out and calling you because all you are doing is adding funds to state house renovations, adding funds to your own salaries, these children are going to call you out. And unfortunately, right now, you are dealing with a generation that doesn't care whether some of the TV stations are saying, you know what, Central in anger, trying to divide people along tribal lines. They don't care. They don't care that this worked for you. This worked for you and our parents and our parents' parents. That really did work for you. Right now, it doesn't. It doesn't. Right now, by the way, the millennials and the Gen Zs will be out here not caring where Nyambura comes from, where Atieno comes from. We don't care. Honestly, and this is a war you cannot win because times have changed. So when you go and commend the police officers and you tell them, even if you need a lawyer, this guy is even a lawyer? It's laughable to think Murkomen is what do they call themselves? A learned friend. It's pathetic that he thought people were going to applaud at his statement, the shoot to kill orders. People were going to clap. No, because the nation will not forget about Albert. The nation will not forget about Boni. The nation will not forget about Lagat. That is what you want the nation to forget. That right now, people are starting even to, people, guys, remember Boni. Right now, he's still fighting for his life in hospital. After the same police officers that you are commending for a job well done shot an innocent civilian selling masks, who had not even said anything to these police officers. Okay, let's assume you want to shoot everyone that tells the police officer something they don't want to hear. Okay, fine. Let our nation be that. If today Muga says something I don't want to hear, boom, boom, done, kalas, get out. Unanisumbua kwa nini? Yeah, let's actually do that as a nation. When you say because of the police officers, had the police officers not shown up, we wouldn't have a nation. Why are you failing to tell the business community why you are not protecting their businesses, but you are protecting parliament? Is it the job of civilians now to protect the businesses? That is your job. So why did we not have wire meshes across, Moi Avenue, all the way to the OTC? Because you guys made sure that you protected parliament, where you all go and pass laws and present bills that are just going to benefit you alone. Because if you really cared about the business community, if you really cared about people's jobs, the way you woke up in the morning to make sure that the parliament is surrounded with wire meshes, that's the same thing you would have done across the whole country. Si mko na budget, si mko na pesa ya wire mesh ya parliament, ya wananchi ndio inawashinda. Come on, Murkomen. Then you go and pull this whole confident look. I'm the man of the moment. Doesn't this remind you last year when Ruto came and called people criminals? How angry he was. Because for the first time, you guys, you showed the state that, we know our rights. Isn't this familiar? That they provoke you and then they want to come and insult your intelligence by telling you things you must not have known about. I mean, we were not aware the police were doing a good job. Tumekuwa tukiwaekelea. All those shootings, the extrajudicial killings, the people who have been abducted, the ones who have been missing, tumekuwa tukiwaekelea, by the way. This government and the police, they are doing an amazing job. They are doing an amazing job. Tear gassing innocent people. I want to play you a clip of our DOP Muga when we were documenting Maandamano juzi. And he almost went to save someone. You can see how bad the tear gas is. And I want you to watch this clip until the end so you can see how bad it was for him. Should I go and save that lady? Na unaona hiyo tear gas ni innocent yenye wamerushiwa, ni innocent. He's documenting and he's wondering, do I go and save this lady or do I go and get some fresh air? Because alikuwa amewezwa. And then right after, we will also play you a clip from Larry Mado so that you guys can tell us watoto walikuwa wamekosea nani. Because the narrative you are trying to push, that the people who are protesting were chaotic, now that narrative will not pass. The narrative you guys you are trying to hide is the narrative that you know who destroyed people's properties and you know who stole from the business community. Let's watch these clips.
Using some Jesus.
All right, there you have it. You know, sometimes when you are covering these things, you don't even know what to do sometimes because the injustices are facing you, you know, right in your face. The police are telling you, you know what, we are not scared. And if that's not enough, let's also watch this clip of how these police officers cornered this young man and bet the hell out of him, you know. And when they saw press approaching, they started, you know what, okay, let's go. Let's watch that clip also.
Mama alikuwa mbona mnatupiga? Mbona mnatupiga kwa nini? Kwa nini mnatupiga? Tumekosa nini? Sisi nani nimekaba ni nini? Tumekosa nini? Mnanipiga. Ni nini? Unapiga kiangu. Unapiga kiangu. Kwa nini? Unapiga kiangu. Hapana. Unapiga kiangu askari. Unapiga kiangu. Sina mawe. Unapiga kwa nini? Kwa nini mnanipiga?
All right, so what good job is that, guys? What are we not getting? What is it that we fail to understand in this whole scenario? You know? Why is it that these are the things they did not want you to see that day? And then all of a sudden, after they had that order to blackout, you know, the blackout order on mainstream media, a couple of hours later, you hear distraction. Why? Because you didn't want people to see you transporting your goons to OTC to cause chaos. Those few hours where there was a media blackout, what exactly was happening in the country? What is it that you guys did not want people to see? Why is it that Murkomen wants to shove this whole narration of coup and terrorism down our throat? Ai? Ni mnadhani terrorism ni kitu ya kuchezea? Man, if there were even signs of terrorism, they would have issued a terror alert. Unadhani terrorism ni kitu mtu anamkanga tu hapa anaanza kuongelelea? Isi kitu mtu anaamka tu unaanza kusema this was a coup or this was terrorism. You know the seed you are planting. You are planting that seed. You are planting the tribal. You know, he's planting so many seeds that if you guys, you still want to view this as a Gachagua thing, you will lose track. You will lose focus. You know? They want to make sure that they are planting the seed of hatred inside you, the tribal seeds inside you. That is exactly what they want to make sure they are planting because they know what's coming. They know next year is just a year away from getting all these people outside those polls. You know, they know for sure. And even these politicians, they are weighing their grounds now. They are weighing. They are looking at, okay, where do I belong, guys? Ni side gani inabamba na kantapata kura? East side. Si wajinga. You will see many of them now starting to call out the same government they've been supporting over and over again. You will see them change, their tunes will change. And you will see them now calling out each other. Because they want to confuse you. And they know time. Guys, Time out. Time out. They know they are not coming back to those seats. They know they are not. Time out. You know? So when you collectively thank the police officers for a job well done, the citizens are watching. When you issue a media blackout on mainstream media, you forget times have changed. We have our phones, we have our platforms, and we will document it real as it is happening on the ground. There's no place to hide. There's no place to create a narrative. You know what I mean? So stop hiding behind this as the CS on this docket. Kwanza, you're not even qualified to be on that docket. Who doesn't know a favor when they see one? You are telling them if you need a lawyer. What are you saying? Murkomen. Amka bana. Amka. Another person who has greatly pissed people. Sholei. We have to address her. I don't know why they are going. I don't know why they are going after Maraga, guys. Honestly, I don't know why they are going after this guy. You know, Maraga attracts some favor from the audience. I think even when you go on X and you see people talking about him, there's a lot of respect that is always accorded to this man. You know? And I have a feeling they thought, you know what, he's just yapping. But the more they see people supporting him, the more it scares them. But Sholei wants to remind us about her children. Let's listen in.
Shame on you, Chief Justice Maraga. You're currently on pension paid by the government. They pay for your cars, they pay for your gardener, they pay for your cook, and then you go to the streets to demonstrate and mislead our children, to destroy people's properties. Shame on you, Chief Justice Maraga. I give my condolences to...
Maraga, you're being paid pension, so you shouldn't speak, my guy. This country makes me happy. Please tell all your parents who are enjoying their pension right now, you don't have a voice and you shouldn't speak in times of injustices. Oh, poor Maraga, you should have seen him. Maraga, si wape hizo gari zao. They are paying for your cook. Maraga is fit. Looks like he doesn't even need a chef. Our guy is fit. Hey, who would have thought a day would come? Eh? Who would have thought when this woman would dare speak to Maraga like that? Who would have thought? But let us hear her condolences. Because again, Maraga is busy. Maraga is busy influencing their children. Her children. Uliona mtoto mgani wa politician huko tukikula tear gas. When you waliona watoto wa Sholei, guys, let me know. I might have missed out on that footage. I might have missed out on Sholei's children's footage. If you children you are watching, share that footage. It would be amazing to share that with our audience. Show them how patriotic you are. You know? Condolences. Let's listen in.
To the families who lost their loved ones. Also, my sympathies with the police officers who are injured. And also, congratulate the police for trying to keep the peace of this country. Honorable Speaker, what happened yesterday was not demonstrations. They were not peaceful demonstrations. Those were acts of hooliganism by criminals who destroyed people's properties. Today, there are people in Nairobi and other parts of the country who are facing bankruptcy. There are people who will not be able to pay for their children to go to school or even feed their families because they have lost everything and all their investment as in the name that somebody was exercising their right, their constitutional right to demonstrate. Yes, you can exercise your constitutional right to demonstrate, but you cannot exercise your right while you destroy the properties and the rights of others. That is completely unacceptable. Your rights end where the other person's rights start. And so we must guard our country from anarchy. We must take action against those who attacked our police stations. CCTV footage is available, they should be arrested and they should be charged. Because even if they are our children, they are not permitted to destroy people's properties or to burn down the government property, vehicles, police stations, courthouses. And I must say, shame on you, Chief Justice Maraga. You're currently on pension paid by the government. They pay for your cars, they pay for your gardener, they pay for your cook, and then you go to the streets to demonstrate and mislead our children, to destroy people's properties. Shame on you.
Oi, Maraga. I hope you've had that shame on you. Huh? I hope you've had that shame on you. But you see how they are pushing this narrative of anarchy, destruction, you destroyed the police stations. It's like they had a script. We want you guys to talk about this. Every time you get to have a presser or you have media or you have coverage in front of you, make sure that you are talking about the anarchy, the distraction. Make sure this is what you are feeding the people. But they leave out that not once, not twice, not thrice have we witnessed goons being paid by the same people, destroying these properties. I mean, I would never sit here and advocate for destruction of anyone's property. No. But I would also be stupid not to read in between the lines and tell you what I truly know is the truth. Because what you are seeing on this side, these are people just protesting. Also, you cannot say this was not a peaceful protest. How is it supposed to be peaceful when you guys have blocked all the roads? I mean, a peaceful protest is where you let the protesters get to where they need to get to. Why are you blocking the roads? Surely. So you want to be hostile to civilians, and then you don't want the civilians to call you out on your BS. Why are you beating people who are innocent, tear gassing innocent people? How do you call that peaceful? Also, why is everyone congratulating the police for a job well done? Which job? Aki polisi msiitikie kutumiwa hivi. Msiitikie kutumiwa hivi. Because when all this is said and done, you who took the orders to shoot at an innocent soul, disregarding the Constitution, you will be the one right there answering. You who took the orders to dramatize and pay goons and ban police stations so that you can you can fault the protesters and say this is the protesters' fault. Of course, I know there's a rotten egg here and there. But again, I will always say, in my history of covering maandamano, we know who the peaceful protesters are, and we know who the ones who have been paid are. Remember why these conversations are happening? Because there's something they want us to forget. They want to make sure, by the time we are nearing election, they've instilled a lot of fear in you. Because they have to go for another round, come what. And they have to lay a clear path on how they are going to exercise these extrajudicial killings. They will be dumping bodies outside police stations and saying, these people were threatening the police. They will commit their murders elsewhere and then dump the bodies outside the police station. They will plant evidence the way they did during the Quarry massacre, when the whole DCI came out and gave a press conference with underwears and some SIM cards and some IDs and said we have the guy. And a couple of hours or days later, the guy alikuwa amekimbia. They will do all these things. They will do all these things. They are going to pick us from our homes and teach us a lesson. And at the end of the day, the public will say, we deserved it. Because they will have planted a seed of anger, tribalism, hatred in your heart. So that at the end of the day, even when the people who are advocating and openly speaking about the injustices in this country, when something bad happens to them, you'll be like, si walijitakia tu, si walienda kuchokoza polisi. the most important question, and I've always dared the government of the day, if you don't fear the protests, how about for once you say we are protecting the civilians as they march? Because I will always insist, you are ashamed of the numbers. You are ashamed of the Standard newspaper having one hell of a drone shot that shows millions of people march against bad governance. Well, you guys are at it. Give the Standard newspaper and give Standard. Oh, by the way, all our audience, buy those newspapers and subscribe also to their YouTube channel, because we are going to need each other someday. And it's coming, and I can smell it. When they start giving shoot to kill orders live on camera, boy, oh boy, we cannot afford to be silent about it. We cannot afford to be silent about it. When they say the citizens injured the officers, the same protests you are seeing the citizens protecting the police officers, even giving them water. What is this narrative, Murkomen? By the way, Murkomen we chunga. Utajipata uko peke yako vibaya sana. You do all the dirty work that you need to do. Just know people are watching. Hashtag Siri in numbers. That's what they will never, never, never want to see. A full march by the people on your face telling you enough is enough. Enough is enough. That's just it. If you want us to sit here one day and say, okay, good job, start doing things that need us to speak about. And we guarantee you we are going to come here and we are going to tell people about the great developments you guys have initiated. But for now, don't tell us that the police did a good job, because we were there. We witnessed it. We saw it, and we cannot come here and tell our audience a different narrative. Leave your thoughts for me on the comment section. But I want to take this moment to remind you, it is important that during the next election, be very careful with who you are going to choose. You know, be very careful. The people you are going to choose. Alrighty? Have a good weekend, my people. Bye.